Back to Contemporary Black Voices, and now it's time for Hot Topic. And we have a real hot one today. We're going to look at the amount of money that's being given to Israel, Ukraine, and some of it to the Gaza Strip. We understand it's going to be over 100 billion. Now, let me say it again. I didn't say million. I said billion dollars is going to be given to Israel, Ukraine, and then 100 million, I think, is going to be given to the Gaza Strip. And so our question that we're going to examine, why not us? Why not us? Don't we have problems right here in America that need to be solved? And we're going to talk about some of those problems and try to analyze this. It's to us, it's making no sense. But before we get to the hot topic, let's go to the mailbag. And as you recall, last week, our hot topic was, is Palestine an apartheid state? And from Goldenrod 15, we got this response. That really helped me understand, especially, I have given most of the credit to our encyclopedia over there, Caleb. He or she was talking about Caleb. You really helped them understand. And they ended it by saying, it is so sad. And that's true. I think that's how all of us feel up here. Then we got something from Chris and REOU 4199. And Chris says, it's legal invasion and colonialism. And I think we all really know that. And I find this interesting right now in terms of the research I'm doing on Paul Robeson and W.E.B. Du Bois. And they talk extensively in the 1940s and the 1950s about colonialism and imperialism and capitalism. And they got their passports taken away from them. So I'm saying that to say, y'all better be careful.
They're going to take my passport.
Y'all better be careful. I know you're getting ready to go somewhere. You better be careful. Okay, so let's get into it. What about this 109, not million, but $billion, Dr. Chadwell? What about that?
It's disturbing. It's kind of like, what type of Xerox machine does this government have? It's kind of, it's kind of like we're hearing all these large numbers being given out to other countries. We're giving out weapons. We're giving out vehicles for weaponry. We're giving out just all this money. But as we stated earlier, what about us? Now, I want to talk about the what about us from one area. What about Black folks and our request for reparations? It's really easy with no studies to be done to say we need $109 billion to help Israel, the Gaza Strip, which is going to probably end up going to Israel, the Ukraine, immigrants, but Black Americans are citizens of the United States. We want our reparations, but they have to do studies. And so I just get irritated every time I hear these large numbers leaving the country, but when it comes to us, we don't get the same consideration.
Caleb, you brought up a good point. You're talking about the water situation in Flint, Michigan, and then you're talking about the water situation in Jackson, Mississippi.
Yeah.
What's the status on both those right now? You know.
I was asking you guys. I mean, even at the height of the crisis, we asked, Black folks were asking for money. They turned their pockets inside out, and it was lint when it comes to Black folks. But they have money they don't have money for Flint. They don't have money for Jackson. They don't have money for inner city education. They don't have money for anything when it comes to Black folks. But Ukraine needs anything. Hey, the credit card is wide open. Israel needs anything, the credit card is wide open.
It is wide open.
Always. It remains. As a matter of fact, Israel has their own credit card. So they are. They
go right into our treasury.
They are right there. You know what I mean? This country. I mean, when it comes to Israel, they are a sugar daddy. But when it comes to Black folks, they're a pimp. So that's this country. So it's they already give Israel over $10 billion a year, and then another quite a few $billion when it comes to and that's just here you go. And then they also give them billions more specifically for defense. They poured billions and billions of dollars into Ukraine already, giving them everything they've asked for. And we're talking about missiles that are $1 million a pop. We're talking about tanks they give them. Those tanks are about $8 million a piece. But they don't have money for Jackson.
Let me say this. You know, I'm gonna go back to what I talked about when this show first started, which is we've got to be responsible for us. Nobody is ever going to give us what we need for us. And we automatically talk about what somebody's not giving. We've got to have our own businesses. We've got to do some of the things that's necessary for us to cause the government or some other people to do what we need to do. All of those other people that you named, they are doing some of those things. And we are asking. Now, I'm not saying that we shouldn't ask. What I am saying is that there's a stark difference between, it's like I was asking somebody earlier about the ADL. Where is our ADL? We don't have anybody when something is asked about us to really defend us. But the only thing we can say is, we want this, we need this, we deserve this. All of those are true, but we're going to have to get it for ourselves.
See, I somewhat disagree with what you're saying.
Okay.
And I wish I can cite the source from where I read this, but there is a belief among the Israelis. They believe that self-determination is only beneficial for them, no one else. And so when we start talking about our own self-determination, there are constant roadblocks being put out there that will block us from getting those things that will help us strengthen our own self-determination. I'm not saying that we shouldn't pursue opening our own businesses. For example, the school vouchers that's got approved for Texas.
Very good.
You know, so we have an excellent opportunity of starting school.
Excellent.
But there's, but you got to get the money, the funding probably from the bank system to open up these businesses. So what type of fences do we have to climb just to get the funding?
Well, I think you brought up something very interesting, and I really want to deal with those. I'm not going to go too much into it now, but when we talk about those vouchers, we have the opportunity to do two things. Number one, I do believe in the public education system, which is going to be eroded and is going to be stopped as we know it. However, we have a tremendous opportunity to be able to start our own schools, take that money that the governor is giving, use those vouchers, and begin to start our own and educate our own kids. That goes back to what I was talking about before. What are we going to do? We can't continue to complain if we don't take some type of action to be able to help. And nobody wants to step up to be able to do that. I don't see that happening.
Well, let's go back to what you're saying. So, United States gives Israel $100 billion. So they give them $10 billion. They get something every year.
Right.
Every year.
Every year.
Now, no wonder they can become financially stable. We made them that way.
And they got healthcare.
They can start their own businesses.
Right.
They can do all this. Have they ever done that for us?
No.
Take $10 billion, give it to inner cities. Say, okay, now
Every year.
every year.
But you don't own the television station.
No. But what I'm saying is that they don't do that for us.
No.
If they did that for us, we would be just as financially stable within our community.
Yeah. And
as the
Israel
rest of
doesn't
them.
need it.
And so that's what we're saying today. Why not us? We need it. I mean, you can start in Baltimore, Washington, D.C., Trenton, Newark, New Jersey, Philadelphia, New York, straight up. And you see, where are the pockets of poverty? Our communities. Why? Because we've been locked out of the game.
Yeah.
They locked us out of the game. And
Absolutely.
they don't let us in. So when
Historically.
you're talking about that, I tell you what, we're about 30 million people? Somewhere about that,
About
30?
40, for about, I think we hit about, 40, 48?
48 million.
About 48 now.
So when we pay our taxes, we should be able to put, this money goes to inner city of Houston. This money goes to the inner city
That would
of
be good.
Atlanta.
That would be good.
And now you take all that money we pay in taxes, and then you put it in our communities, and we'll have the same results that Israel can have. Instead of our money going to Israel, keep it right here for our communities. But ain't nowhere in the world they're going to. There's no way in the world that they'll do that.
No, absolutely not.
Everybody else is getting reparations from the United States for
But,
whatever, but us.
Yeah.
No, they got to do a study. And one of the things they have to study is how we're going to spend the money. Why is that a question?
How we're going to spend the money?
Yeah.
Oh, we take it to the Cadillac.
Okay, that's fine. Open up a black Cadillac dealership. Then.
No, they don't do
Open
that.
no, you can do that. Open up a Mercedes dealership. Open up all these black dealerships, and blacks that got this money can go buy their cars. You hire the mechanics to work on the cars. You hire the get ready people that get the cars ready to go out. Now you're giving black people jobs in the community. So if somebody wants to take their whatever amount and go buy a Cadillac, make sure you buy it from a black dealership is the thing. But I think what we're raising here is the issue of why all this money.
Where's the money coming from?
Oh, they just like Caleb said, you put the credit card in the Treasury Department.
Just hit print.
Print $100 billion.
That's it.
Send over here to you.
If I find that card, if I have a secret need,
Yeah, I think that's a point out. I think somebody a real problem. We don't have the lobbying
Yes.
in D.C. the way these other people do.
Right.
The Jewish lobby is and NRA. Man, they
Is
run
what?
the NRA.
Oh, yeah.
Jewish lobby and NRA. They run Capitol Hill.
Right.
They run Capitol Hill.
Absolutely.
What we have up there in the past have lobbyists going for civil rights. Like in the 1960s, the Civil Rights Bill, the Voting Rights Bill, Clarence Mitchell was considered the 101st senator in Washington, D.C. But we're going after civil rights and not economics.
Right.
And maybe they need to do a shift there and get. But if you took every black person in this country and they gave $1 to a lobbying, that would be a powerful lobby in Washington, D.C. And you could see some of these things start to turn around. We just can't compete with the Israeli lobbyists up
No,
there.
I don't. Nobody can compete with Israeli lobby.
Well, maybe NRA. Maybe the NRA can.
Not even.
Not
Not even close. Though this country has if they want to sell any kind of weapon to any country in the Middle East or North Africa, they have to ask Israel. Israel has veto power. They want to sell fighter jets that are $100 million a pop. And these were jobs for Texas because these jets are built in North Texas. And the Israelis vetoed it and said they couldn't sell it because they have to maintain technological superiority over the Arab countries. So they vetoed, and I'm talking about the F-35. And so they vetoed selling these people. So they have a veto over American jobs, basically. That they have the most powerful lobby, the most powerful veto, and it's inbuilt.
So it's the tail wagging the dog.
Exactly. That's what it is. That's what it is. And I mean, my question is how they became this. They got run out of Europe because they weren't white enough. But they went to the Middle East and they practiced their version of white supremacy.
Yeah.
You know what I
right.
mean?
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, it's insane. And so now they're this bastion of white, Jewish, racist, apartheid supremacy sitting in the Middle East.
Be careful.
Yeah. Hey.
And Netanyahu,
Be careful.
But he's
he is the leader. Yeah.
since he stepped on the
And
stage
Biden goes over there and hugs him and kisses him.
and kisses his behind.
Yeah.
And that is that is incredible. So that's where we're at. Money for a state that doesn't need it. Israel is probably the wealthiest. Of course, they're one of the wealthiest states over there, and it's not because of oil. It's industrialization. Israel sells weapons all over the world. They sell drones. Israel manufactures their own tanks. They manufacture their own everything. Israel will take Americans will give it like the F-35. They gave it to Israel, And here's the point. They gave it to Israel. Israel took the American software out and added their own software, and then they won't share it with America. Yeah, it's insane.
But we paying for
But and we probably paid for that software.
Right.
You know what I mean? But they won't sell their secrets to the U.S. But the
Lord.
U.S. gives them, will sell them the jet fighter. So this is that's the insanity. That's where we're at when it comes to Israel.
And we give it part of this $100 billion is going
109 billion.
109
$109 billion.
is for defense. Now we already give them every year
Yeah.
$10 billion for defense.
Yeah, already.
Now,
Yeah.
wasn't that enough for their defense?
And they don't-
Now they need more.
They don't need it. The Israelis have probably one of the most sophisticated tanks out there in the world, the Merkava, and it's comparable in some aspects to the American tank, but in a lot of different aspects, it's more sophisticated to the American tanks. So a lot of their weapon systems are above and beyond. We had to borrow the Iron Dome system. That's theirs. We funded it. They developed it. We had to borrow it from them. That's how sophisticated. They don't need our money.
Wow.
Yeah, the Iron Dome is theirs.
It's obvious you don't have a security clearance.
Oh,
Let me do something real quick here. It just dawned on me. Iran has $6 billion. It's their money. It's from oil they sold to South Korea. United States said, freeze that money. And they froze it. Now, the prison exchange, they're supposed to get their money back.
right.
Now, because what happened in Israel, they're freezing it again. In other words, we're going back on our word, our deal. We're used to that.
Wow.
Do you think Israel has anything to do with not letting that money get to Iran?
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It was propaganda from the beginning. They started the propaganda as soon as the attack happened. They were saying this was because of Biden. Biden released this money to Iran, and all of a sudden they saying instantly it went to Hamas. But they can't have it both ways. Either Hamas had been planning this, or Hamas got the money from. You can't. It can't be both. You know what I mean? Either it was already in the stages, or they did it when they got the money. You understand? You see what I'm
Right,
saying?
yeah,
So
yeah.
they're trying to have it both ways. It's Republicans, and it's all political because that money went to Iran, and this is the other thing that they don't understand. This is how stupid they are. The Iranians don't back Hamas; they back Hezbollah, and so the
Right.
Republicans don't know the difference between Hamas and
And
Hezbollah.
Hezbollah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so the money never went to Hamas in the first place.
Yeah. What would happen if, let's say, United States sold oil to a country, and the country owed United States $6 billion, and somebody steps in and says, "Don't give them their $6 billion."
Oh, we're going to send war. It's going to be war. You going to give us our money?
You can't blame Iran for not liking us. That's
can't
their
blame
money.
anyone.
Now we're thinking about. I listen to some Republican. These guys are dangerous. They said we need to go in and stop Iran from even producing oil.
They can't do that.
If they send the troops in there, they can.
Yeah, but I mean, they learned a lesson from Somalia.
Okay.
And if you want to go to Iran and you take on 100 million Iranians,
Yeah.
with that religious kind of fervor that they have, that we'll be bringing home bodies left and right.
We did it. We're doing that in Vietnam where we brought home 58,000 bodies before we finally realized we had no business over there.
But and then you have the context of the times.
Okay.
The weapons have become a lot more sophisticated. And Iran is not Vietnam. Iran is they're a first world state. They're very sophisticated military systems, well-trained. The Iranians are not the Vietnamese. So if we try to do anything like that, we're in big trouble.
Well, Caleb ended by telling Biden, "Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't go into
Don't do
Iran."
it. So I think the people around him are they're very sophisticated. You know, he has two black people to advise him. So.
Okay. Okay. All right. Quick closing comments. Start with Caleb.
No, I mean, I think as far as this segment goes, Israel has outsized veto power. They don't need the money that we're supplying them. They have money when it goes to Israel, when it goes to Ukraine, when it goes to those kind of causes, but they don't, again, have money just to fix the water system. And it's not like we're asking them to fix the water system in Uganda. We're asking them to fix an American municipal water system. We're asking them to get lead out of the water for children. And so, but they don't have money for that. As far as the earlier segment, again, I just want to reiterate, please seek medical, licensed medical professional. And so again, regardless of your beliefs, if they bring you comfort and peace, please, please, if you have to, whatever you have to do, if you want to pray, if you want to seek a ministry or whatever, but also please don't let that, use all the tools in your toolbox. Please seek professional medical assistance if you need it. And so we need to end the stigma in our communities around mental health. And so,
Okay, doctor.
So Democrats, you wonder why a lot of African Americans are upset at you right now? It's because we don't understand where all this money is coming from to support other countries and not support us, namely Black folks. We want our reparations.
Chris.
I would say that this, first of all, we had a good discussion today. I think I want to thank you, Breen, and Ms. Campbell. But more importantly, this is a little bit off the subject, but I anticipate that we're in for a world war based on what's going on in Israel. When we talk about the money and so forth that we want, and we begin to question about the money that's going away from the United States being given to especially somebody like Israel and so forth, when we look at what's happening with the Republican Party and what's going on in Congress today, all of these things to me are going to end us in a world war, because you're going to have those Muslim countries that are going to be against us for the reasons that you talked about. All the stuff that we want to keep their money, we want to do this, we want to do that. And I hope that cooler minds will prevail and keep us from doing that.
Okay, good ending. So this is Contemporary Black Voices, as usual, telling, and we definitely did it today, telling our story our way.
Amen.